Oh, hi everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Let me ask you a question. Are any of you struggling to get your videos ranked on the first page of YouTube? I think a lot of people have been, checked the Facebook group and my comments and the videos that I've been putting out recently. And a lot of people have trouble, ranking their videos, particularly we want to, you want to ideally rank your videos on the first page of YouTube. And so if you can get your videos ranked on the first page of YouTube, whether it's at the very top, which could be very competitive, or even 3 or 4 or 5 videos down, then you're going to get a lot of traffic. Of course, depending on the search volume that you have. But so today in this live stream, we're going to look at how to rank your YouTube videos with a small channel. And it's probably a little bit easier with bigger channels, but with a small channel, you want to do specific keyword research. So we have a special guest on the live stream today that is also a member of the Facebook group that I run. And so we're going to be talking to her. But let me first introduce myself. My name's Herman Drost from my website, drostdesigns.com. And my channel is all about how to grow your audience on YouTube and then use that audience to generate traffic, leads, and sales on autopilot. So if you can do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, year after year, then you can have videos that are working for you that you don't even have to touch. So you do the work once, and then they're still working for you year after year, so long as they continue their rankings in the search engines. So so if you can rank as a small channel or a large channel, or not all your videos are going to rank, but if you can get a few that maintain their rankings in the search engines, then that's a beautiful thing about YouTube, because people are searching YouTube and Google to find answers to their questions, and you provide these solutions. So that's a beautiful thing about YouTube. So I want to welcome everybody here. We've got, so forgive me if I'm not pronouncing your name clearly, but we've got Joshua Anderson, and we've got Chair Bear, we've got Mr. Tour Build, we've got Pop Eeps, we've got John Eckert. Good morning, John. Good afternoon over here. And we've got Chili TV. We've got the Flannel Guy, Do It Yourself. Good to see you. And we've got Caillou Toys Review. I've got May Evans. So good to see everybody. And we're going to, I know some of you have questions. We'll probably try to, I want to get to do the interview first with Mary, who's the special guest today. And then we'll answer the questions, at the end, especially if people have questions for her, about what she's got to say, what she's got to share. And then we'll answer, try to answer as many as I can. So I just want to mention the special guest today is Mary Anglin. She has a real estate channel that she began actually just last year, so it's a relatively small channel, and she has been doing well with ranking some of her videos on the first page of YouTube. For example, I'll just show you a quick graphic here. This is one of her videos that's the keyword phrase is getting top dollar for your home. That's the kind of main keyword phrase, but she's got a top ranking here for getting top dollar for your home and selling it fast. So so that's her first page ranking for that particular keyword phrase. But she, let me see if I can show you another graphic here. So it's currently ranking for the main keyword phrase, getting top dollar for your home. She's ranking number 3, and that according to Keywords Everywhere, that has a search volume per month of 30 30 searches per month, and a very high cost per click. I was kind of surprised at this, but $6.25 per click. That means people that are, trying to advertise for that keyword phrase, getting top dollar for your home, they're paying $6.25, and her particular video is ranking page 1 of YouTube and number 3. So she's not paying any money. She's getting free traffic, and if she sells a house, then she didn't pay any money for advertising, but only the sweat and the hard work and whatever went into creating the video. So those are just a couple of examples. So I'm going to bring her on now. Let me just check if I can bring her on. Oh, there she is. I'm just got to do the split screen here if I can. Okay, here we go. Oh, hi, Mary. How you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I understand it's morning in California, and
Yeah.
what you're about 3 hours ahead, I think. So I guess it must be around 11 o'clock or so.
That's right.
Yeah. So good morning, and
Morning.
it's afternoon here, around 2 o'clock. So a bit of a time difference there. And I want to thank you for coming on and being able to share your successes about your channel. And so basically the whole idea, the whole focus of this interview, because the title of the live stream is, how to rank your videos on a small channel. And when people are starting out, there's like 1,000 things you got to think of to achieve those rankings, but you are able to kind of focus in and get success. So that's why I wanted to bring you on, because you shared that success. So maybe you can say a little bit about yourself and why you started your YouTube channel. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I've been a real estate agent outside Los Angeles, and I'm in my 6th year. And my original company I was with was very old school. We just did cold calling and door knocking. But I loved that company because I felt the broker didn't understand anything about being online. And he actually made fun of people who tried to have an online presence. I left him. And then I found that a lot of agents use Facebook. But you've really got to use Facebook ads. You have to pay for it. There's a lot of competition. And then the ads just disappear and you have to do it all over. So I've wanted a YouTube channel for 3 years, but I kept putting it off for whatever reason. I didn't know how to do it. I wasn't confident in doing it. But I realized I want to have a presence that, doesn't die, that just stays forever. And I also want to educate people, because I found people need to sell a house or buy a house, and they actually understand very little about the process. So the first videos that I've done, I actually have just published 12 of them now. They all were an education of some sort. Tips on buying, tips on selling.
Great. Well, only 12 videos. That's amazing. You got off to a great start.
Thank you.
So,
I do one a week.
What's that?
I do one every week.
Oh, great. Yeah. So, actually, if you want to check out Mary's channel, I've put her channel in the video description below this live stream, so you can check that out. Okay. So when it comes to trying to come up with topics, like how do you go about, because there's hundreds of topics about real estate. How do you figure out what kind of topic you want to focus on, for your channel?
Mm-hmm. I actually, when I first started, I sent out a survey to my database, asking what they would be interested in seeing. And I didn't get very many responses back, but I did get some.
Okay.
But also, just having worked with people, I've come to understand what questions they have and what things that they just don't know. So ways that I could help them to understand. So I plan out my videos. I've planned, I always do a series of 4 at a time. Though my goal is to plan more and more ahead of time. But if I have a series of 4, then they can build on each other.
Okay.
So I don't have to put all the info into one video.
So when you talk about 4, does that mean you have you come up with 4 topics at a time, and then you go into doing 4 scripts at a time, and you record? Do you batch record, or you just record you do one sitting and record one day and then record another day, or you try to do it all in one afternoon sort of thing?
Well, that's my goal. I'm not there yet. I have batch recorded, but I do all of my own editing, and after I publish a video, I spend basically a day promoting it. Oh. So I haven't gotten to the point yet where where my schedule is in sync enough where I can batch, but that is definitely my goal.
I think that's a great point you mentioned about, and I mention this all the time, about knowing your target audience. So because you've been in the industry for a while, you sort of have an idea already, and probably like myself, I'm my own target audience. So you kind of have to talk to yourself, I guess, you're in the industry sort of thing, like what kind of topics, you'd like to see, or target audience. I think the idea that you mentioned, you surveyed your audience, which I think is great, because you can think, well, I love this topic, but maybe your audience is not even interested in that topic. So surveying your audience is really good. And I would say, for other people, you can check comments on other videos in your niche, or other forums or Facebook groups, and see what people are talking about. So kind of, where people are hanging out online talking about your particular niche. But I think the survey is a great idea. So that's good. The other thing I was thinking about was so you've got your topics now, but then how do you go about doing the keyword research, to make sure that, okay, I'm going for this topic, getting the top dollar for your home. So how do you know that is actually a good term to go after? Because maybe there's nobody searching for that at all.
I actually use TubeBuddy, which is, it's an extension in YouTube. So I come up basically with a basic topic, and I search that, and if it's got, a search volume of, 5 million, I don't mess with it. I try to keep them, well, I guess my first 4 videos, I stayed under 500, and now I'm staying for a search volume under 1,000.
Okay. 1,000 per month, or?
Yeah, per month.
Okay.
And my search pools, a lot of them have been pretty high, but I'm confident anyway, because I have been able to rank. I just try to not go too high on the search volume.
Okay.
But I will type the phrase in, and I'll see what I've got. And in TubeBuddy, you've got suggestions.
Yeah.
So sometimes I've got a phrase and it's not quite right, so I'll just play around with it and see if my phrase, excuse me, if I need to adjust my phrase a little bit.
Mm. And also they have the keyword score, and do you look at the score too that you get for your videos, or ignore that?
Well, it's funny because the score is irrelevant pretty much.
Okay.
Even some of the videos I've done already, I'll go in and look, and I'll see that the score says it's very bad.
Oh.
But then when I go in and look at the result, I'm ranked at 3. So.
Oh, that's great. That's good to know. Maybe it's just for the real estate industry.
Well, I think they don't know how well I can, that I have some tricks on searching for keywords.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay, great. So you mentioned tricks. So any of those tricks you want to share with us?
Well, just mainly staying under volume, and I do when I'm doing the research, I will watch a couple of the videos that come up, and just to see how similar they really are to my topic.
Okay.
But another thing I do is I write out every script. I don't ad-lib at all.
Okay.
So I write my script, and then once my script is written, I go back into TubeBuddy and key points or phrases that are within my script, I'll search them.
Okay.
And a lot of them can be used as additional keywords that I hadn't even anticipated in the beginning.
Okay.
So I've usually got between 10 and 15 keyword phrases that I use, and I usually rank for quite a few of those.
Okay. So these are like associated keyword phrases to the one
right.
that's for the title of your video. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. And these are these just sort of random, as you're writing a script, you're not really doing any keyword research for those associated keyword phrases. They're already just sort of come to your mind as you're writing the script, and then afterwards you kind of check them out on TubeBuddy to see, what they come up with. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. It's sort of like a reverse process of what others do, because most people they'll look at the keyword score in TubeBuddy and they'll look at the searches, etc., and then say, well, I'm going to choose that phrase. But you're kind of going the opposite way and starting off with TubeBuddy, but then writing your script and then going back to TubeBuddy to kind of check the phrases. So yeah, I think that sounds like it works, because then you have. When I think about it, it's like you're creating a script based upon your knowledge, and these are like what people are in their mind, or maybe like I talk about searcher's intent. What's the intent? I may not have thought of those phrases, but it's related to what your video content is. So
right.
And the whole idea is that your video is totally relevant to the topic that you're talking about. So
yes.
So if it's highly relevant, then there's a greater chance that then you that you'll actually rank well in the search engines, which you have proven. So yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
So any other processes you do with the keyword research? You just use TubeBuddy pretty much?
Pretty much. I did have one topic. My first series was geared towards sellers. Okay. Then I did another series towards buyers. And my niche within real estate is seniors, okay. Baby boomers and older, their parents. There was very little on YouTube, so I went into Google and searched, and I used keyword research to help me come up with topics for that. And once I, did my script, I could go back into TubeBuddy and search for phrases that would work.
Okay, oh, that's great. Yeah, so you basically, when you're thinking about the topics and the keyword research, you're thinking 4 videos ahead, and then you're scripting your videos, and then when it comes to actually creating your videos, is there any specific formula or structure that you follow? When you've got your script done, that you just read your script, or you have any particular things you follow with that?
Well, in the scripting itself, I do a little introduction of the topic, like a one sentence is, the most recent one I did was, is it time for you to sell an inherited property, but you don't know where to start? Okay. Because that's the whole point of my video. So I get that out there in the first sentence, tell them, ask them to stay to the end of the video. I always offer something free where they can opt in. Okay. And try to get them, I said, stay to the end, and you can get this. Okay. And then I do a quick introduction of myself, just my name, where I work, what my certification is. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the video, you'll know 7 crucial points about, whatever the topic is. And I do try to break it down throughout the video. Point number 1 is this. Point number 2 is this. Point number 3. And I try to make it. I have a tendency sometimes to get too cerebral. I can just like give information, but I'm trying to make it more so where here's the information and this is what you do with it. And here's the information on this point and here's what you do with it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So that they know why it's valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then just ask them, of course, at the beginning, I also ask them to subscribe. And then again, at the end, I remind them to subscribe.
Okay. And then when do you use the end screens in your videos too to redirect or cards or end screens to redirect to related videos or a playlist or anything like that?
I use both. I do an end screen with a subscribe button and then usually either 2 videos or 2 playlists. And I do cards throughout.
Okay, good. Yeah, so it sounds like you got a structure down. You're kind of going, trying to keep people engaged, and I do the same kind of. I find the list style video works well because people know point 1, point 2, point 3, and I think also how to apply the information so people know that that you can, if you apply this technique or this tip, how it'll work. I think that's a great point too. And then when it comes to after you finish the video, then of course you publish the video, and then they usually, YouTube says in the first 24, 48 hours is kind of crucial to get those real-time stats. And generally what I find is that your video, it can actually rank in the first like 7 days, 7 days it could rank, and then sometimes what happens is that after 7 days the video might start going down in the rankings because YouTube is trying to figure out where to put it, where to place it in its ranking.
Yeah.
So what things do? You say you spend like a whole day promoting the video, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Any particular things you do with that?
Yeah, and actually it's interesting because my videos always rank within a couple of hours, and I'm sure it's because I'm doing promotion.
Yeah.
And the one that you shared on screen, the example, that was my very first video from November 1st, and it is still ranking.
All right.
And I do use it as an end card sometimes.
Yeah.
But I belong to several Facebook groups, so I post either the YouTube video or a teaser video in my Facebook groups. Mm-hmm. And I email it out to my database. I put it on my LinkedIn page. And I ping it. I use Pingler and Ping-O-Matic.
Okay.
So these are the basic things I do. And at first I was texting it to my kids and saying, okay, watch this all the way through, even if it's silent.
I watch it 20 times.
Well, YouTube's too smart. I don't think you can't watch it 20. You can watch it 20 times, but they'll only count it as one.
Yeah. You don't want to game the system, that's for sure. But that's a good idea about promotion. I find that because I promote, I don't do so much promotion, but I find if I look at my statistics, most of my traffic sources to my videos come from, YouTube search is my biggest one. Then I think my second one is external sources, which if I dig into them, it's mostly Google search. So that's kind of interesting. That's the largest search engine, above YouTube itself. So that's great. You can get traffic from both. I think it's like 60. I think I get like 65% from Google search in my external traffic sources, and mostly through YouTube search. And then I think the the other, like Facebook and that, is kind of a very small percentage, which is kind of, I was kind of thinking about that the other day. I think, well, maybe YouTube skews the results towards YouTube and Google's because it's kind of keep, but it's conspiracy theory, but I think, but YouTube does, recognize what they call start times. If you can, get, different start times from different places on the net, from Facebook and your website and everywhere, then the more start times you get and session times you get, then you start a session and people start watching your video, and it comes from all over the web. That's actually that also helps your ranking. So I think that's a good idea as far as promotion goes. And I kind of lost the point I was going to make before, but yeah, I think the sharing on. Usually what I do is go through those social media sites that they have under their sites, which is Tumblr and Pinterest and LinkedIn, as you mentioned, etc. So I think LinkedIn's great because probably a lot of real estate people are on LinkedIn, isn't it? So, for that,
right? Yeah.
So you finished your promotion, and then do you sometimes look into your stats too to see where your traffic sources are coming from, or you just kind of move on to the next video?
I haven't done that enough, but I do, and my biggest is actually Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a Facebook business page, so I'll post either the video or the teaser video, and then I'll boost it for a week until my next video.
Oh, okay. The boosting is a paid promotion. You kind of
right
$10 or something like that for boosting the post.
I don't spend very much. I do like $1 a day.
Oh, okay.
And it will, when you do that with Facebook, it does flow it over into Instagram. Okay. So I get, at least I get likes on it from Instagram.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So, any other tips you want to share about ranking any of your videos? I think you got so you started in November. You got 12 videos, and you got, I guess, 2 or 3 that are doing really well at the moment. Is that right?
Well, actually, they're all doing pretty good.
Oh. Right.
Yeah. And I just looked this morning, and I had 3,000 views on my channel. So I don't know if that's good in this time period of 2.5 months or not, but I've just got about 175 subscribers, something like that.
Okay.
So,
and you sold 12 houses, so that's pretty good too.
That's coming. That's coming.
Down the road, yeah. Well, I think that's probably the bottom line, but I think that's great because I think you mentioned to me before that not many people in your town are using YouTube as a way to to promote your business or to make people aware of what you're doing, and because it's all about kind of expanding your presence to a wider audience, isn't it? So I guess you could walk around town, knock on doors, but it's going to take you for years. But YouTube, since it's a search engine and people are searching for information, that this is kind of a quick way to get exposure to your business.
Yeah. And actually, I did knock on doors on Monday, just on my block, on my street, and there weren't very many people home. You can survive knocking on doors, but survival is about it.
Yeah.
But I like to do it, actually. So I went out on Monday, and the few people that I did meet, I told them I had a YouTube channel, and every one of them was excited about it. So.
Yeah, that's exciting because it's better than a business card. It's like a live business card, and they can see live, and also your more personable way of getting, rather than just an email or a web page. It just has text on it, etc. So I think video. I mean, they said that next this year and going into the future that video is going to be even more present, in people's lives. So you kind of starting your channel at the right time. Probably should have started 3 years ago, but it's still a good time to get going, so that's great. So I
Well,
know, hey, if anybody in the chat has any questions for Mary, she shared a lot of tips and tricks about how she's ranking her videos on a small channel that she just started November last year. So if you have any particular questions, put them in the chat. I'm gonna kind of scroll through here and see if there's any. I'm first gonna look at any related questions to what we talked about, and there may be other questions we'll address later that are if they're not directly related. But let me check here. Oh, good to see you, Christina and Uthman and Keto Coffee. Oh, hi, Sharon. Good to see you. Came a little bit late. We just got through the interview here, but good to see you there. Okay, somebody said I need to set up an email address. Actually, that brings up another point about outside YouTube. Mary, do you also use your channel to capture contact information from people visiting from subscribers? But do you try to build an email list and try to follow up with them that way too, or you're thinking about that down the road?
I do that. As I mentioned, I give away a freebie every video till
Okay.
they stay at the end of the video. So with those, sometimes they're just totally free. It's a link to this or that. But about half the time, I will also require them to give me an email address so that I can capture their information and stay in touch.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, I think the following up on the building email list, I think is great because I sometimes think, maybe if for some crazy reason, YouTube shuts down your channel, or like I've had several strikes on my channel and it's like 3 strikes and you're out, so if you get 1 strike, think, oh man, I got 2 left, I better be careful. So you're kind of living on borrowed ground. So it's kind of good to not build your business on YouTube, but use it as a method to, build your business elsewhere, sort of thing, off YouTube that's on property that you own. So I think that's a great point about collecting email addresses so you can follow up an email, send personal emails, etc. So Sharon has a great question here. Hi, Mary. What's the number 1 tip you have for us?
Keywords. You can have the most incredible video ever, but if it's not getting viewed, it's not going to do you any good. So always do keyword research. That keyword for the title, and of course, for the description and thumbnail with keyword in it. But I think that's the most crucial thing, is getting your keywords.
Okay. And what software do you use for your thumbnails? Do you just use Canva or?
Canva.
Canva, okay. Yeah, so if anybody doesn't know about that, Canva.com is a great online free graphic software that they got templates in there, and you can quickly create a beautiful thumbnail, or just use the templates that they have, or just choose a template, and then you can switch out your own images, etc., and add text. It's a great one. I use it too. So I've got another question here from John. Let me see here. I can see. Hello, Mary. Is there an easy way to check if a YouTube channel name is in use? GoDaddy is a good resource for checking website domain names. I'm wondering if a similar service is available for YouTube.
I don't know if there is, but I know that there are a number of channels with my name. So there are other people with my name who just use their names. And I don't know. I don't know. I never checked. So but I definitely have the most active channel with my name.
So so when you came up with a name for your channel, did you check if there's other Mary Anglins that have YouTube channels?
No.
Okay. So maybe there's many Mary Anglins, but they don't maybe own a YouTube channel. Or I know if you have the same, say it's like John Smith or Mary Smith or whatever, that you could, somebody already has that channel name, you could always add numbers to it, or you could say, the best, or add numbers or letters, or so you could alternate it, something like that. But that's great. Maybe there's no other Mary Anglin's channels,
Actually, there are. There are other Mary Anglin channels.
Oh, okay.
So I could probably name mine Mary Anglin Realtor.
Right.
Maybe to differentiate. But I do think it's a good idea, unless you're really famous, it's a good idea to have your name in there, because that's how people will search for you.
Yeah.
They'll search your name.
Okay. And you put do you usually put your name in the tags of your videos too?
Yes.
Okay. So that's a good thing for people that don't know. If you want to, get your channel ranked in YouTube, then put if the name of your channel is Mary Anglin, put your name in there, or if it's Sam's Music Shop, put Sam's Music Shop in there, and that does help for your videos to appear under your name. Okay, Martin Music has a question. I don't know if you can answer that, but I'll put it up here. So, if you would use Instagram for business, but with two quite different subjects, music and writing books, would you then start two accounts or combine them into one account? Well, it's more an Instagram type question, but if you want to answer that, Mary.
Yeah, Instagram's a whole different animal, and people have different opinions. I do have an Instagram account, and I think it's a lot to manage two different pages. And I blend mine, personal and business, because I do want people who want to view my business postings to also see that I'm a human, so that I get pictures of my family and of flowers and houses and everything. So that's just my preference, but I'm not a master on Instagram.
Yeah. I think I'd sometimes thought about creating like another YouTube channel, because you have many people have many different interests, and I guess this question comes up quite often is well, I have an interest in running, I have an interest in hockey, and should I put them all into one channel, or all the different interests? It's kind of a tricky question, but I know that if you want to have success on one channel, it's usually kind of a full-time, it takes a lot of work to run one channel. So if you're running two channels, it's going to divide your time. And I know some of my friends that have had two channels, and they had to kind of kill the second channel, or, just focus on one, because they got too stressed out. So
right.
My feeling is that's, stick with one channel, or if you have two channels, then, your time is divided, or maybe if you can somehow be able to weave the two together and maybe use playlists to differentiate your topics is probably good. So with Instagram, I don't know. I would say also is just stick with one Instagram account, because it's, unless if it's, I guess it's also depends on return on investment. If you get a lot of traffic and leads and sales from YouTube, then kind of stick with YouTube and use Instagram to kind of supplement what you do on YouTube. But I think one main social media platform is probably the best, and I think YouTube is actually the best because the fact that it's a search engine, and the billion videos are watched every day, and once you get a few videos ranking there that stick to the first page, then you can get continuous traffic coming to you over and over again. So unlike Instagram or Facebook or these other ones that disappear after a while.
I agree.
Let's see. Tech Runveer has got a question here. So, if two different YouTubers upload a video on the same topic on the same day, with effective keywords and tags, also with 4K HD quality. Both of them big YouTubers, so which YouTuber's video will rank at the top? Well, it's probably not a question for Mary, but I would say, if you got two very popular channels and they're both going for the same topic, depends if it's exactly the same topic. It really depends on maybe the authority of the channel, I would say. If one big YouTuber has like 1 million subscribers and the other one has 500,000 subscribers, possibly the one that has the 1 million subscribers probably has more authority, so probably they might rank a little higher. But I would say if you have a lot of competition, it's always good to look for alternative keyword phrases to the big YouTuber. So you're not really if you're trying to rank for the same phrase as someone in your niche that has many more subscribers, then you're kind of just wasting your time. You're better to look for less competitive keywords or keyword phrases that are somewhat similar, and then offering unique content yourself. So you got anything to say about that, Mary, or?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Yeah. So that's my take. It's like, because I know in my industry, the YouTube help, there's there's more people coming on there every day. And I have friends that started earlier than me and they kind of surpassed me. So, a lot has to do with, delivery and your charisma, and a lot of things go into it. And some people in the background have lots of followers, maybe on Instagram, or maybe they got a big, very popular Hollywood person, or a person that has a big account, on LinkedIn or something. So you don't really know what's happening in the background of your competitors. You say, well, how come their videos are ranking? How come they suddenly got 5,000 views? But you don't know that maybe they got some friend who's very popular, that is helping the channel. So generally I try not to compare myself with others. It's best to kind of stay in your own lane and try to improve from your previous video is best. Instead of start comparing yourself, probably just end up depressed. So okay, let's see if we've got any more questions here. Okay, we answered John's question. Oh, hi, Miriam. Good to see you. Okay. Yeah, if any of you got more questions, then put them in the chat. Let's see any at the moment. One question I can think of, Mary, is I know it's kind of like maybe a little bit too early to ask, but in your time you've had your channel, is there any, like if somebody's starting a YouTube channel, usually you make a lot of mistakes and you don't know what to focus on, but is there any mistakes, or maybe instead of mistakes, like things that you probably shouldn't do, when you started your channel, you think, oh, that was a waste of time, or some, other people can learn from if they're about to start a channel or have a small channel, like, is there something that you could tell them?
Well, my biggest mistake was waiting so long to start, honestly.
Can't do much about that.
Well, one thing I did is I record at home. I have a great backyard, but I couldn't record there. It was too noisy. Okay. My office just wasn't right. So I actually took time to paint my office and set it up. I use natural light, but I think that's important too. And it's my videos, I did a few practice videos and they just weren't looking good. My office was, a beige color, and my paintings didn't support it. So people, it's a little thing, but people do look at it. And it's good. I think it's good to have a background that's not too busy, but one that maybe reflects your character. That's not a huge feel at
The
all. But I
background, I
think
like your simple background. Because I like nature, so a plant is always good. And yeah, I think your background's great because you kind of a simple background. You know, it's not just a white wall, which I when I started, it was the apple white background was like the in thing to
mm,
use. But when I look back on it now, I think, oh, I kind of cringe, like just white, you know. So, but I think adding a simple background, you know, you can just use a small corner of your room or something like that
yeah.
is great as a backdrop. And recently I got a green screen, so I've been kind of experimenting with that.
Mm,
I can be at the beach, I can be at the mountains,
oh,
the thing. But you got to be careful you don't look artificial with that. So,
yeah.
but yeah, just and actually the backdrop I have now is just I think it's like a $30 wall hanging. You know, it looks like a
Mm,
brick wall,
yeah.
but you know, you got so many different choices that you can use. So
Hmm.
there's no excuse to have a nice backdrop. We've got another
Yeah.
question here. I don't know if that relates to you, Mary, but we'll put it up there anyway. I have a question: why YouTube requires that your channel should link to social media? Well, I think the answer to that is that it's just the way their business model. They want you to share your videos to as many different areas as possible, so they get more people onto YouTube, and then they can show more ads to you, and so it kind of supports their business model. So I think that'll be kind of my answer. I mean, it's a social media platform, and they want to get
Hmm.
and actually there are, you know, many others are competing because like Facebook got into video and Instagram got into video.
Hmm.
Now YouTube is doing stories and, you know, they got Instagram. So everybody's trying to outdo each other and they all want people to stay on their platform. And I think, I don't know if it's true still, but they used to kind of frown on people being on Facebook. So they kind of, kind of cut that out. So I think that everybody's trying to keep people on their own platform so they stay popular and support their business model. I don't think we have a choice in that really.
Yeah. One thing I did, Herman, that might be helpful to some people is before I actually began, I did something for 2 weeks with a group of other agents, and we were in a private Facebook group together. But we practiced videos, and we gave ourselves random topics, and we had to shoot a 30-second video.
Okay.
And then we posted them and critiqued each other. And that was really helpful to me because my first few were really terrible. So I sort of, I learned a few things. It was just 2 weeks, but it was, if you just shoot one video and put it up and go, that's terrible, I'm never going to do it again.
Yeah.
You've lost the game. So if you can do some practicing if you're not comfortable with the camera.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mary. I think I probably forgot to ask you that, but like a lot of people have a fear of being on camera and, because you're out there in the public when you're on camera. So when you first started, did you have a fear of being on camera or you just, you had no trouble with that? Because a lot of people think, oh, how am I going to look? How am I going to sound? I look terrible. And it's easy to lose confidence just by looking at yourself.
If I had done it without those 2 weeks of practice, that would have made a huge difference. But those 2 weeks of practice gave me a lot of confidence, as well as setting up my office. So I had a background. I had become more comfortable in front of the camera. But I think one thing that's important to realize, at least for me, I'm in a service industry, and I'm working with people for most people, it's the biggest financial transaction of their life. Mm. So they want to work with somebody that they know, like, and trust. And if they see you on video, I'm not a beauty queen, but my personality shows. Mm. And they may look at my videos and go, oh, I don't like her. But then I've pre-screened them, or they've pre-screened me.
Good point, yeah.
But people have come to know me, so they're comfortable with my knowledge, with my personality. So I think that's more important. just do some practice, and then just know that it's what you're offering is valuable.
Yeah.
The information you're offering, and that you're becoming known.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think when you're talking about, I thought, oh well, you could even practice on your phone, like your iPhone. You could just practice doing videos on your phone, and then look at how you're presenting yourself, and then before you actually go public. So, and I think Facebook group or something like that is great as a challenge. Hey, maybe it's an idea for my Facebook group. Maybe I have a challenge or so. I think that's because I mean, definitely we can all improve on our delivery. So I think getting feedback from others is always good. How you can present yourself better, or speak louder, or do less hands gesticulating, or whatever. Yeah, that's great. May Evans has a good tip here. She says that Daryl Eves, who runs the Vid Summit conference, said that if someone watches your video from Facebook, you won't get much watch time. Yeah, I think that's true because, Facebook wants to keep you on Facebook. So if somebody's watching a YouTube video on Facebook, then you don't really get credit for it on YouTube. But if they go from Facebook and then they go over to YouTube and watch it, then of course you get credit. So yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, May, for saying that. I think that's the thing. Everybody all these social media platforms want to keep you on their platform. So if you're on YouTube, then you can if you have a Facebook video on your have a YouTube video on Facebook, or if you have it on your website, then you want to drive them onto YouTube. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions here. Okay, Sharon has a tip here. For May, they only provide a link to YouTube and put up the thumbnail and the photo section. They were forced to go to YouTube to watch. Yeah, that's a good point. And Twitch Gold says how to get rich from YouTube. Well, that's a pretty open-ended question, but I would say it's not a great YouTube is not a get rich quick scheme. It's always many people say this. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, but you have to slowly build. You have to build up your channel. If you can get a video that goes viral, then that's usually doesn't usually happen, but I think the key is to actually be consistent. Like Mary's uploading a new video every week. I try to upload 2 videos every week and live stream once a week. So I've been trying to stay consistent for several years, and through that hasn't been like super growth, but consistent growth I think is better because you kind of you got to fit it into your life, into your schedule, etc. So you don't want to get stressed out and try to upload a new video every day, and then you kind of burn out. But you got to kind of pace yourself, and then your channel will grow over time. And I think the beauty of like this live stream today and the interview is all about how to grow a small channel through ranking your videos on YouTube. So if you can rank 1, 2, 3, 12, maybe 3 years down the road, you have a lot of videos ranking on the first page of YouTube, and probably some of them are going to rank in Google as well, then you're going to get all that, you might take a holiday, but then, or whatever, but then your videos are still working for you, day and night, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without you even touching them. So I think that's great. Let's see. Good to see you, Richard. Just viewed your video on how to host a live chat on YouTube, and you're live. Okay. Yeah. So if anybody has any last questions, we're kind of coming to the end of our interview here this hour. But I think I answered a lot of questions. That you have any final tips, Mary, for if somebody's trying to just has a small channel and they are struggling, how to get their videos discovered, or any tips for how to what their mindset should be going forward, as a small channel?
I guess I would say don't be a do-it-yourselfer. Just get a coach, get a trainer that can advise you, somebody who has already had success. So there's no reason to reinvent the wheel.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a good point. I mean, if you try to go it alone, if you're just starting from scratch, then of course there's a lot of YouTube videos out there, but you can go in a Facebook group or try to find other people in your niche. If you're in a real estate niche, you can find other people that are in that niche. And as Mary said, when she first started, she kind of started doing, kind of just practice videos to kind of get comfortable. And then she kind of went ahead with her own channel. So, so if any of you are not part of my Facebook group, to Video Bootcamp, I'll put a link in the chat there. You're welcome to join that, because that's where people can learn from each other and get feedback from your videos. You can ask questions. Mary's in there sometimes, so if you have any real estate questions, you can ask her or get feedback. So get feedback on your thumbnails, maybe on your delivery of your videos. If you have any, especially if you're starting off with YouTube, then you probably got a ton of questions. So yeah, definitely check that out. One last question here from Beauty Conscious says, should you rank for a specific keyword or a bunch of them? So Mary, you want to answer that one?
Well, I rank for a bunch. I think that helps, but definitely your main keyword is very important. Make sure you rank for your main keyword in your title. In my title, I have my keyword phrase, and then I try to add something to it, like an emotional catch, like getting top dollar for your home was my keyword, and there are a lot of videos with that, but I added in and sell it fast. I did another one recently for selling the family home, and my emotional trigger was emotions and memories.
Okay.
And that video actually is on Google's front page.
All right.
It's not covered very well at all. But then I do like to rank for a number of other keywords as well. I think it just helps your video and your channel in the long run.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's great. Glad that you mentioned that, because I think when you're creating videos, you definitely want to look for serving the search engines. So that's one thing, but then the other thing is you got to serve your viewers. So your viewers are not necessarily so interested in the search term, but you want to include your search term, then trying to include some extra phrase. I think that's great. Trying like selling a home fast, or putting the date, the year in there, or something that motivates a viewer to want to watch your video, or click on the your thumbnail should also try to motivate people to click, because nobody's clicking on the thumbnail not going to watch your video. So your thumbnail, your title should be should try to grab people's attention, and then your video content. So yeah, that's a good point. You want to appeal to the search engines, but also to your viewers. So there's not much real estate. When you talk about real estate, there's not much real estate in the title, but I think it's might be like 70 characters or something.
Yeah.
But it's not much there, but it's definitely worth adding a little bit of an emotional trigger or something that can kind of just motivate people to want to click on your video once they see the title. So that's a great point. Let's see. Okay, Beauty Conscious has another question here. Follow-up question. about changing the keywords from time to time. So should we change our keywords from time to time or not even touch it?
I wouldn't necessarily change what is there. If I come across another one, I might add one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that you don't want to. I mean, if you've created a video and you've used keywords in there, say like in your title, then you kind of want to leave that alone, because sometimes videos take. I've had videos that didn't rank at all for weeks, and then like 6 months down the road, suddenly they popped up on the first page of YouTube. So I think it's better to, once you've created a video, to leave those keywords in the title, not change your title. You could change the tags. That's not so crucial as your title, but I would tend to leave the video alone, and then maybe go back to your old videos if they're not ranking after a while, after maybe a year or so. And, if they're not getting any traffic, nothing's happening to them, then you could, change your title or your tags, description, etc. And then what happens is YouTube will index those videos, and that usually takes some time, because it might take several weeks or several months for them to re-index the video, and then you might start getting some traffic from them. So I would tend to kind of leave them alone, but definitely instead of playing around with your old videos, I would say move forward and just take another keyword phrase, and just create a new video based upon the same keyword, different keyword phrase, or choose another keyword, and just keep on producing new videos.
If she or anyone likes, they can go in and look at some of my videos and check my keywords and how they rank, just to get an example of what we've talked about.
Yeah, you can just, I put the, let's see, I've got your channel here. I'll just put it in the chat. Let me grab that. Kind of a long one there, but I'll put it in there. So this is Mary's channel. You can check that out, and then you can just look. She's got several videos in there that are ranking on the first page. Check them out, and if you have the 2-bit extension, then, or the vidIQ extension, you can also see the I think with 2-bit, you can actually see the keywords that she used in the videos, and then what she's ranking, where she's ranking for those particular videos. So you can learn a lot just by observing that channel and the videos that she has on there. So I want to thank everybody for attending the live stream today, and I want to thank Mary. Thanks for dropping by and answering.
Well, thank you.
I think I learned some things too, which I might try out. And if you have any further questions for Mary, then you can put them in the comments, or if you're not, if you're a member of the Facebook group, put them in the Facebook group. She can answer them there. And if you have any topics for future discussions, you can put them in the comments also. But thanks for everybody for your questions, for being here. I hope you have a great weekend, and thanks again, Mary, for the interview and for being here, and hope you all have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.